There's this old stand. Right on the corner where the field is. I see a signpost right there, so that might be the edge of the public. The other interesting thing is this skunk cabbage patch. Cabbage Patch Kids. Skunk cabbage. So here's where two trails meet. I think that's another crab apple. I think there's a couple more here in the background. Somebody's got some ribbons here. I'm sure it's a gun hunter. This is my spot, leave me alone, sort of thing. More May apples. Found some the other day. I'll document the standing water in here. Getting close to where we have that little isthmus of trees. Some type of field on the other side. That's what I'm interested in. This looks like apple tree leaves right there. Getting close to the corner of the wood where it juts out. There's a little point there. I'd say we're 3/4 through this edge from the fence. That's where those apple trees were. Or trees with apple tree-like, look-alike leaves. Ooh, there goes a snipe. But there's a nest in there. I'm gonna leave it alone. So I can see the water now curling towards that point. We're gonna plunge in here a little bit. This is where it's the smallest or the narrowest band with water. I don't think I'm gonna be able to get across, but I'm gonna go as far as I can and inspect, because I can see nice cattails on the other side. That's gotta be a good hunting spot. Deer. They were bedded in here. We're gonna have to go over there and see if we can find where they were bedded. Okay. I don't think I'm gonna make it any farther. This is all very, very wet. I can see my car glittering in the sunlight way off in the distance. Somewhere in here, these deer might have been walking. You can see the trail in the weeds there. They might have been walking. And they were just watching me walk along the edge, and when I turned to come and look at the little area here to see if I could walk across, that's when they bolted. That's what I'm thinking, because I don't see any beds here. And you can see where I walked in a couple times, I got to my knees. It's a pretty solid bottom. But I'm not taking any more chances, because there's a big opening there. But what's interesting, you can see in the background another pond. Lots of cattails. That is very interesting with this water here as a barrier. So get one of those really little cheap kayaks. And to get the deer, if I shoot one, I would just put a rope around its antlers, kayak across to this little bit shallower water, get out of the kayak, pull it across. That's assuming it's too big for the kayak. And right here is where it's the narrowest area here of water. You can see this. So I walked in over this way because because it looked like I could get someplace that way, but it ends right there. And maybe that's still not that deep right there. I should go check that out on my way out. But here's another spot. I checked that maple right there. There's no beds around it. But like right here, you just get that deer across the water here, and now I can drag the deer to the car. So I'll mark this on the GPS as a narrow water. I'll mark it as narrow water. Because we gotta go check out those cattails. Now maybe I can get around it by walking around this whole thing. So we'll find that out too. But I think it'd be easier just, quieter. Especially if there's a connection. It kind of looks like there's a connection to that pond. Just over, and it comes around, and then it comes down here. That's what I think. All right. I put the camera in the backpack so that I don't have to hold it with my hand. I can balance as I'm walking through all this muck. I made it to high ground, at least a little bit of high ground here. Half expecting a bed here, nothing. I just walked through that from that field. Let me just say, it's not for the suit and tie deer hunter to walk through. This is what I want to see. I want to see these cattails, but all of a sudden I see a bunch of water. So I don't know if I can get that close. Well, there's some, oh, maybe this way. Man, there's got to be buck beds in there somewhere. When everything's frozen, next winter, I'm definitely coming here to check it. But I'm going to try to make it to that little grove of ash trees right there. There's a point of trees off in the distance there. I'm trying to get there too. I haven't encountered any really deep water, not quite to my knees, but it's muck and it pulls at my boots, and I gotta walk carefully lest I trip. Every so often I get into a little deeper area. Lots of methane. And here we have cattails. This little grove of ash trees looks like it's higher. All the other ash trees have been growing in the water. This is early May, and this might all dry out too. Ooh, there's a deeper spot. That's to my knees. Sticking nettles on it. Looks like the deer have been in here chomping away. What kind of bird is that? There's the first bed of the day right here. Not a big one. Right up against this tree. This is a swamp white oak. I grabbed a leaf out of the water and there's some more in the bed anyway. So if this is dropping acorns, which might be once every 10 years. I think there's another swamp white oak right there. That big tree. But there's got to be bedding area all in here. I see taller cattails off in the distance that way, and then off way in that corner where I tried to get across first and couldn't. So we're gonna go around this way. We can definitely, looks like, get around over there unless there's a creek or something. Skirt around the wood. I didn't see any real heavy trails going in here at all. So that might change as I walk through here. If I see one, I'll follow it in a little ways. All right. Way off in that direction is that big swamp white oak that I just documented. And I got to the high ground, and there's red oaks on here, and it looks like a big old shagbark hickory. And maples. Look at that. Another shagbark hickory. Another one over there. Unless that's pignut, but I think that's shagbark. That will be interesting to come and see that. This is dynamite, but I'm sure there's other people in here. I should have kept walking instead of walk through that swamp. See, this is where the suit and tie hunter would have been smarter than I am. Of course, I wouldn't have found that swamp white oak there at the point either, with that bed. So, never know. Well, we're going to walk all around in here. We'll mark it down as hickories and oaks. That's a really nice big rub right there. Look at that. That's way up there. Pretty close to throat high right here. All right. Right next to the crab apple, we have us a big old traditional rub. And I'd say there's a little bit of fresh rubbing right here. I just touched it. Or maybe 60, 70 yards from that other rub I found. I think we got us a stand location right here. We'll have to look around for a tree. Probably have to wait until all the leaves come on. I guess it depends when this tree is dropping its apples. Definitely got to come in here in August and look. I just kicked up another deer. Ooh, look at that. Almost 3.